I'm excited to be interviewing Krista Fabrick on the subject of marketing and building a personal brand. Krista is an assistant professor and business department chair at ACU, Arizona Christian University. She has a love and a passion for the topic and teaching millennials how to build personal brands. So thank you for joining us, Krista. How are you today?
Doing well, and I see some of my students and alumni are starting to join, including Allison, who we're going to talk about a little bit today. So I'm glad
Woo!
she's here. Yes.
Awesome. She says you're her favorite, so
Yes.
yeah, I love that. Well, Krista, tell us, like, why do you have such a passion for marketing and helping others improve their personal brands?
I think it's so important in today's world because everybody is everywhere online. And I think that you can have so much power if you use marketing properly, either as a person or as a company. And we can really influence others and influence culture, which is one of the pillars of Arizona Christian University. Is we want to be able to transform culture with truth. And
Yeah.
so how you can start to do that is by getting influence. And you can get influence by building a personal brand.
That's awesome. So with the workshop that you and Allison have coming up, tell us about that. Tell us about Allison. Tell us about what they're going to be learning. It's called Creating You. Is that correct?
That's correct. Creating You. And the hope is this will be a series of workshops and potentially webinars eventually. Allison is an alumni of ACU. She graduated about a year and a half ago. And she does a lot of things like myself. She's an entrepreneur. She's a volleyball coach. She's a personal trainer. I would call her a motivational or life coach. And then she's definitely a social media influencer. And she and I both have a passion for helping others figure out their purpose in life, figuring out their why, and figuring out how to build that personal brand. So our workshop, Creating You, is going to be all about just starting that process. It's not a 1 hour process, but we want to start to give people the right questions to think about and answer, and the right tools to discover their why and to start building their path to becoming known.
That's great. And tell us about Allison's journey and how you were able to kind of encourage and mentor her through her process of building her brand.
Yeah. So Allison she was starting to build her influence on Instagram, and she had already had all these ideas for writing a book. I think I neglected to mention before, she has 2 books she's writing, and she had ideas for a business, and she just really wanted to get out there and have influencer people and be able to help people with their personal fitness and health, and even just motivating them. And so we met a little over a year ago, and I just kind of encouraged her that she could totally do it. She had the voice. She started building her audience on Instagram, and I've encouraged her along the way, and she has been so consistent, and she's just so authentic and real. And I think people love that, and that's why she's been able to, in a little over a year, go from around 1,000 followers to I think about 16,000 followers. And she has not just numbers; she has a very engaged audience. If you check her profile, she consistently has, a ton of likes, a ton of comments, and she has built that day by day, person by person. She responds to every DM, every comment. She's doing it absolutely the right way, building a community around her brand. So.
That's so cool. I love that. And I know that there's quite a few of my followers in my community that maybe want to jump into something like this, but maybe they don't believe in what they're saying. Like, nobody's going to listen to me. Nobody's going to talk to me. Or even like, what do I talk about? And I know that you mentioned that you love helping people find their purpose. So maybe there's some people watching and listening that just don't know where to start.
Right.
What are some practical things that they can do to help find their purpose and what they're doing?
Yeah, if they don't know exactly what their why is or what their purpose is, they just got to start thinking, what is it that you love to spend your time doing? What is it that people come and ask you advice about? What is it that if you could do anything in the world that you wanted to do, when time and money weren't an issue, what would you be doing? If you were being interviewed on a podcast 2 years from now, what would you be interviewed about? If you start to ask yourself these questions and answer these questions, that should help you figure out what more of your why.
I love that. And why do you suggest that millennials focus on building a personal brand? What's the hype about personal brand? Like, why should I just start doing it?
Right. Well, I mean, first of all, if you are online in any way, shape, or form, a blog, Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, anything, Pinterest
Mhm.
even, you have a personal brand, whether you mean to have one or not. So that's the first thing that I always like to point out. But it's, you know, if you're online, then you should be intentional about it. You should be using that for your own good, whether that's to influence your little brother, you know, or whether that's to influence your college students, or if that's to
Sure.
influence, you know, tens of thousands of people as if you become a social media influencer. No matter, it doesn't matter if it's one person or 100,000 people. If you can
Yeah.
use your personal brand to influence even one person, that's worth it.
Yeah. So one thing you said earlier to me that has just stuck out is one thing you do for your clients is you help them create content, you're a content creator in some form. I feel like that can be the hardest part for people. It's like, yeah, I want to be known for basketball, you know, but what should I be posting and how do I build content? Because I feel like if you can just start posting, then you'll and do it consistently, just like you were saying with Allison. She was consistent and just getting stuff out there, responding to people, giving a community. She even says you've helped her so much, even with live videos, you know. So how do people, where do I start if I need to just start to build content? Like, how do I do that?
Well, I'm gonna steal some advice from a couple different social media influencers, including a personal friend of mine. I love my friend Chelsea Pites, who I'll have to tag her out on this later. But she always says, if you don't know where to start, start by sharing other people's content that relate to what you want to be known for, and commenting on their content. So just
Mm-hmm.
by consuming other people's content and by interacting with them, you're starting to create a little bit of content. Then from there, it's the, you know, the quote, "The document, don't create," from Gary Vee. That's,
Yeah.
if you want, for example, you want to be known for basketball, then document you doing some drills or teaching somebody else how to do those drills. Just do a little
Mhm.
video of that, or get on Instagram Live and explain how to do one of those drills. If
Yeah.
you have knowledge in an area, there is, all you have to do is just start sharing that knowledge. You don't have to do a 10-minute YouTube video. You can get on and do a 30-second Instagram story and just start
Sure.
to show people that this is something you care about, are passionate
Yeah.
about, something that you have knowledge in.
Yeah.
So it sounds so insurmountable. It sounds like, oh my gosh, what am I going to share? But,
Right.
you know, like anybody who's done it consistently knows that if you just every single day try to think of one thing that you can share with your audience,
Sure.
that about what you love to do or about what you want to be known for, then it'll just snowball, and people will then start to give you questions. They'll DM you, they'll comment,
Yeah.
whatever it might be, and then that'll become
Yeah.
an endless source of content.
That's really good advice because I feel like, especially when you don't know where to start, that resharing of stuff that you already like, that you already follow, and commenting and engaging. Because I feel like there's quite a few people too that don't understand the power of replying to every person that comments on your post.
Oh
You
yeah.
know what I mean? Why do you think that that's so important?
Because social media is about a community. And so I don't care if you have 100,000 followers or if you have 1,000. I care how many of those people are actually engaging with you and willing to act on what you want them to do. That's the whole goal of being known. If you want to be known for something, you want to have an audience that's actually going to act on what you want them to do. So
Yeah.
that's, you know, that's why the replying to each and every comment or DM is so important, because then you're going to build trust and loyalty and community. And so people
Yeah.
that are believe in you, trust you, feel like they know you, they're going to be more likely to act on whatever you want them to act on.
Yeah, I love it. And as a Christian too, because I feel like there's some Christians that go on the extreme of, well, you shouldn't be building a personal brand. Like you shouldn't be promoting yourself. You shouldn't be doing that, you know, like you should be doing promoting Jesus and what he wants you to do. What do you say to that mindset? Like living in today's world, what's your opinion on how certain Christians, maybe more religious Christians, view social media and personal branding? Why is it still important for today's millennial Christian to use it?
Because then that's how they're going to have the ability to gain influence, to help influence those who are not Christian, or maybe if they're a strong Christian, a Christian who's a new Christian. I know I've personally been able to use social media to have people approach me in DMs, you know, ask me for my
Mhm.
testimony, ask me for my advice, non-Christians who
Yeah,
oh, well, I see you living out your life, you know, but what do you think about this?
yeah,
And so I think In fact, one of my all-time favorite pastors, my pastor from back home in California,
Uh-huh.
he's on like 3 different radio shows. He's published 10 books. He's, all these things. And
Wow.
he's super active on social media. And it's because
Yeah,
he has been able to change not just his congregation's life, but tens of thousands of lives by
that's so
building a
cool.
personal brand and putting that content out there. So,
Yeah, I love that. Another thing, a cool thing that you mentioned to me earlier was auditing your personal brand. Can you share the story of the girl with the Twitter and the job?
yes.
And then I want to get into like, how do you audit your own personal brand and where you're at?
Yeah, so a couple of years ago when I first taught social media marketing, I had a student stand up on the first day of class and say, listen to her, she's right, talking about me, because she
Mhm.
had just had a sit down with her boss that she had got hired for a fabulous internship, which she almost did not get because of
Wow.
what she had said on Twitter. So her boss sat down with her and went through every single tweet for a certain amount of time and made her
Uh-huh.
delete stuff that was just dumb or controversial or whatever. And she
Yeah.
said she was mortified and literally she almost did not get this amazing internship because of it. So
Wow.
what I recommend everybody does, obviously you want to be intentional about what you're putting on social media, but
Yeah.
every so often, maybe every 3 months, every 6 months, whatever it may be, and I have my students do this, is look at whatever platform you're active on, or if you have a blog, and just take a quick look and assess what if somebody didn't know me at all and they came and looked at my Twitter, what
Hmm.
would they think about me? For example, if you go look at my Twitter, it's almost exclusively stuff about ACU probably.
Sure. Sure.
But so you will understand that I am a professor at ACU. So
Yeah.
and that just no matter what, even if you're a social media influencer, if you're a marketing guru, whatever everybody can benefit from kind of assessing their online personality.
Yeah. Cool. And then what are ways that people can improve their personal brand online? Or let's say, I've done the audit, I've seen where, okay, that's probably not a good idea, and maybe a little bit more of that. What are other practical ways that you feel like people can improve the way people perceive them online?
I mean, just being authentic, make sure that you're presenting who you really are. So
Yeah.
don't try, if you're truly trying to become known and build a personal brand, you're not going to be able to sustain it if you're not being authentic.
Yeah.
So just make sure you're really sharing. Doesn't mean you have to share every high and every low,
Yeah.
and everything in between, but what you are sharing, make sure it is representative of who you are.
Yeah. That's great, Krista. So, closing remarks, closing thoughts. Tell people, how can they follow you, stay in touch with you, because you're doing this workshop with Allison called Creating You, and that's August 23rd at 7 p.m. Is that
That's
correct?
correct. And so for those of you in the Phoenix area, that's going to be at the 1951 at Sky Song. It's a really cool venue that ASU has for entrepreneurs and for businesses who are trying to help entrepreneurs. And so we have a Facebook event set up for it. The link is in my bio. You can find me
Cool.
at Krista Fabrick on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook. I guess that's about the 3 main ones I use.
Okay,
And so
cool.
would love to see anybody there that is in the area. And if not, I think we are going to try and record it and share.
Awesome. And you also teach for Hustle Phoenix, is that correct?
That's correct. Hustle Phoenix is a wonderful organization that helps entrepreneurs get their businesses started and integrate that biblical worldview into building a business and running a business. And I'm
Mhm.
fortunate that I get to teach at their marketing workshops for them.
That's so cool. Well, thank you so much, Krista, for your time. You've been so helpful, and I love what you're doing and your passion for people building and their personal brands and helping people with marketing and all of that good stuff. So I look forward to making one of these workshops. I know I can't come to Creating You,
Yeah.
but one of them I'm going to show up to,
Yes.
and look forward to staying in touch and just seeing you on your journey with Allison and everything that you guys are going to be doing. So thank you so much
Yeah.
for your time. This
Thank
has
you
been
so much. This
awesome.
was a lot of fun, and I'm so thankful that Chelsea put us in touch with each other. And I look forward
Yes, yes,
to
shout out to
following your
Chelsea.
ministry. All right.
Awesome.
Have a
Well, have a
great
good
day.
day. Okay.
Bye-bye.